Before the launch of summer, we had a family overnight at Kalahari Resort, and we're going to show you the room, the water park, and all the food. We went to the Kalahari location in the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania. For those of you that haven't heard of Kalahari, it's an African-themed family resort with a huge indoor water park and locations in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, and Texas. It was still a bit chilly for their outdoor activities like the zip line, and we didn't have time for all the add-ons like the Build-A-Bear workshop and the escape rooms. But with barely 24 hours, we still had a really fantastic and full mini vacation. Let's check in. The check-in process was quick and easy with these self-check-in kiosks, and we loved taking in all the African animal themes in the lobby. The decor is more elevated than some other family resorts that we've been to, and there were lots of offerings to explore. We stayed in a 2-bedroom living room suite, which has one room with 2 double beds and one with a king-size bed. The living room was spacious and had a working fireplace. The furniture was a bit sparse, but nice. I think they know that families need more spare space for all their stuff. And the theming of the resort continues into the rooms without being over the top. The mini fridge and microwave can be helpful if you bring your own snacks, or you can get some downstairs. Some of the furniture showed a lot of scratches and the dark finishes, but you'll be hard-pressed to find a family resort without some wear and tear. Kids can be rough. I love that there are 2 bathrooms, so mom and dad have an ensuite bathroom. But something I find really interesting that I don't see most other hotels and resorts is that the rooms are very open. It's just really the bedrooms and this wall-mounted bedside table, because there are no dressers, there are no shelves, and I thought that storage might be an issue. I mean, not for us. We're just here for one day. Each kid has one backpack, that's it. But there is in the closet these built-in shelves and cubbies along with hanging space, and so it just keeps the rooms very open. I wonder, given all the traffic and kids climbing around on stuff, if you don't do better to just have all your storage tucked away and leave the space open. It does echo a little bit, and the lighting is a little dark since all the colors are kind of warm, but everything smells fresh and seems very, very clean and bright. Right off the bat, we walked in, we were like, oh, this is much nicer than Great Wolf Lodge. Sorry, Great Wolf Lodge. So, in this bathroom, we have a towel animal. Don't tell Nora, she's terrified of towel animals. It's a little weird. Both vanities have a towel animal. They have a blow dryer, so there's 2 blow dryers for the 2 bedrooms. And now that I'm really looking at it, I'm shocked at how big this tub is. This is definitely like the grown-up master suite has a soaking bathtub. So even if I don't get to take advantage of the Kalahari spa, I might be having a nice little relaxing me time in here. You're not invited. You'll see the vanity here is inside the ensuite bathroom, but over in the kids' bathroom, the vanity's outside. So the bathroom just has the tub and the toilet with the sink outside. And the showers also have a laundry line, which is super helpful because we're gonna have so many wet swimsuits to hang up and dry. So our room has this sign on it, and I noticed across the hall the door number looks different, and the staff told me that that's because these rooms with these signs have the twin beds instead of the double beds. in the kids' room. Let's head downstairs to the water park. This footage was from 2 days, but I'm going to piece it together for you. You walk through a really extensive arcade and by a shop offering any items you may have forgotten for the water park, like swimsuits and such. And then you're at the entrance to the water park. Here you can buy day passes to the park if needed, but our room included a wristband for admission starting at 10 a.m. on the day we checked in and continuing until 4 p.m. on our day of checkout. Just inside were men's and women's locker rooms, as well as a family changing room. And once suited up, we checked out some towels. Of course, family pool time requires lots of gear, and we needed somewhere to park all our gear. But since we didn't arrive until mid-afternoon, a lot of the seating was taken. You could pay a small fee for access to tables in more prominent areas, or, of course, you could rent a cabana for a serious upgrade. There are so many levels of cabanas all over the resort. Some were huge with sofa sets and TVs, and this one even had a hot tub. But eventually we found a table of our own by one of the baby pools. If you can't find a table, go straight to the back center of the park. Under these slides were some tables that were open even at the busiest time of day. And there are multiple bathrooms, so no matter where you end up sitting, you'll be fine. The water park has a wave pool, hot tubs, indoor-outdoor pools, and more. But I'm going to show you what works best for various age groups. Safety first. My 3-year-old and 5-year-old donned the complimentary life vests and headed into the kiddie pool. There were kids' slides, a small lazy river, and some baby basketball hoops. My 8-year-old was ready to explore the body slides for bigger kids in the Central Splash Zone. And he tried the bigger basketball and the adult lazy river. We got really lazy. Well, as much as you can with kids. My family has always loved a wave pool, and this was no exception. The waves were pretty mild. We didn't try any of the family hot tubs because they were for ages 6 and up. But if you have a thrill seeker, there's no shortage of water slides, and wait times were only around 25 minutes each. There were singles, doubles, and more. First, we rode Victoria Falls, and then the Smoke That Thunders. They also had a flow rider, but we'll save that for the teen years. Let's see if the water park snack stands offer anything for us as gluten-free, dairy-free vegetarians. Starting with Zulu Grill.
As you would expect, it's a lot of chicken fingers and ices. I did look at some ice pops, and there were 4 options, and 3 of the 4 contained dairy, but one of them was just sugar and tamarind. It was tamarind flavored, which I wasn't sure if my kids would be into that. The popcorn might be a possibility for allergen folks. to ask.
Next, I tried Cafe Mirage, located between the arcade and the water park. It was standard concession fare with most of the same stuff as the other location. Even this smoothie bar didn't offer any dairy-free options. They were all frozen yogurt based. Since not many of the kids' options worked for our diet, let's check out the grown-up spots. This grotto bar is 100% where I would be if I were kid-free. There's also a swim-up sports bar by one of the basketball pools. And in the middle of everything is the cracked coconut, with lots of frozen mixed drink machines. Not great for us, but it looks like fun anyway. Let's go back upstairs for some full meal reviews. Remember, we're going to be eating gluten-free, dairy-free, and vegetarian, but whether you have all kinds of food allergies or zero dietary restrictions, we're going to give you the rundown on the 3 restaurants we tried.
08.
You know all the numbers, huh? Water park hair don't care, because we have to go to dinner. And so we are hustling downstairs. It's about 7:05, so we'll see if we can get in or if there's going to be a long wait. B-Luxe Burgers. While we waited for our table to be ready, we explored some of the shops around the lobby area. Kalahari Outpost was mostly resort-themed gear and gifts, while Marrakesh Market was the snack shop. We were really hopeful for some gluten-free boxed cookies or allergy-friendly chips, anything really, but there was almost nothing in there that we would eat. But these imports from Africa were really cool. At the last bite, they offered treats and ice cream, and even doggy treats. I suspect that popcorn may have worked for us, but who wants that when you're looking at this caramel apple lineup? And none of the ice creams were dairy-free. But we didn't have time for arguments with the kids because we got the text that our table was ready. The Zoltar says to subscribe to this channel. B-Luxe is a burger restaurant, and this was our second time going here, so we expected it to be good again. We made it into B-Luxe. We had left the water park around 6:15, 6:30, and stopped in to see if we could put our name in since there's no reservations made in advance. They said, you don't need to, we have seats, come on in. But we were still wearing our swimsuits and wet. So we said, never mind, ran back to the room and got changed. And when we got back down at 7:05, there was a bit of a wait, but it was only about 10 minutes, maybe 15. So not too bad at all. And the lobby was pretty cleared out compared to this afternoon during the height of people checking in. And so it was a nice atmosphere to hang around. We looked at the menu a little bit, and so we are typically gluten-free, dairy-free, pescatarian, and as much as we can, we avoid soy. Soy, we never knowingly, intentionally order gluten and dairy, but we occasionally have to get soy. Sometimes we get things that happen to be in soybean oil, or that, soy lecithin doesn't throw us off too much. But you will rarely see us order, and basically it's been years since I've had a tofu dish. And so sometimes as a pescatarian, if we go to a restaurant that doesn't have any fish options or a lot of other vegetarian options, soy is the only thing that's left as an entree. And so this was one of those situations where I think there were a couple of vegetarian salads, but they had quite a bit of dairy on them, so to change them would have been a pretty boring salad and not very interesting for the kids. As a salad topping for the protein, they didn't have any salmon or a protein that would work for us. The only fish was shrimp, and we don't do shellfish. So what was left was an Impossible Burger. And so for like the second time in the last 2 or 3 years, I said, yeah, that's kind of our only option. But we've gotten to such a good place with our diet that it seems like this is one of those moments where we're gonna work our best to drink lots of water and hopefully not have a strong reaction to it. It's not an allergy. It's just something that does increase inflammation for some of us. And so Impossible Burgers it is. But when we told our server, she was super helpful and friendly about it and said, yes, let me go get the chef. And so the chef came out and was super friendly and helpful and said that they can do fries or tater tots baked.
since it's a shared fryer and would have some cross-contamination concerns, they'll just bake our tater tots. And so we did get 2 Impossible Burgers on gluten-free buns with fries and 2 with tater tots. We're pretty excited. But they were super friendly and willing to make accommodations, and we tried to make it easy for them by ordering 4 of the same thing. Let's see how it goes. Woo! We are done. We are full. Dinner was tasty. I don't think our flavors were over the top, but everything did what it was supposed to do. The burger was decent. The bun was a little dry, but it was a gluten-free bun. The fries were good considering they were baked, so they were a little less crisp than they would be otherwise, but also a little more healthy than they would be otherwise. So that's a bonus. You did get exposure to not just gluten and dairy that would have been a cross-contamination issue in the fryer, but you also got to save on some of those probably not so great oils that they would have been fried in. So really a bonus in terms of health. But can we be real for just a second? Because I don't know about you, but as someone who lives with a dietary restriction, I used to have pretty strong reactions to things. Some of my restrictions, it took a long time to narrow down what it was, but some of these things used to leave me up all night sick. I for a long time had ongoing issues with recurring vomiting that I didn't know was because of food I was sensitive to. So when I occasionally get exposed to something, either by accident or because, I make a choice sometimes to have a little bit of soy, or tonight I started out eating the ketchup here and then was like, this tastes different from my normal ketchup. And we realized at home we buy organic ketchup and it doesn't have high fructose corn syrup in it, and I just couldn't even take the flavor. It's very different once you're not used to it. And I ordered a margarita, and I don't drink much alcohol anymore. It's just somewhere between the different layers of things that I'm not used to eating that are really not fantastic. You start to get worried, am I going to get sick tonight? And what's going to be the thing that's going to push me over the edge? And is it worth it in the middle of a family vacation? So my advice, 99 times out of 100, is don't break the rules. If you have rules for yourself and you know that you get sick, don't try to walk the line to figure out right where you can get up to before you get sick, which is obvious if it's a food allergy or celiac. But for those of us dealing with sensitivities, this is a question that everyone asks, do you let it go when you're on vacation? And it's not worth it, because now I'm stressed out that maybe my evening's going to take a downward turn, and maybe tomorrow I won't feel up for the water park. And I do want to make sure that even if I do have any situation where I don't feel great, it's not B-Luxe's fault. It's not any gluten or any dairy, because they were super conscientious and careful, and I'm really, really grateful for the care we got here today, and the service was great. We're back in the room, and I'm so angsty. So I should probably also mention that we've been to Kalahari once before. It was when I was still pregnant with the youngest, and on the way home I got really, really sick, ended up having a 24-hour stomach bug, basically from the time we were leaving the resort. So I'm pretty sure I picked up some kind of norovirus on probably in the water park. I was hanging out in the baby pool the whole time, and I mean, those can be germy places, but there's a possibility of having some anxiety and sense memory from being here and getting sick, but that happens sometimes, and especially if you are sensitive to certain foods and you get sick with some frequency, you can start to associate it with that place. Kalahari is a place I've gotten sick. The Disney Dream is a place I've gotten sick, but it's a place we go back to on vacation, and so I have to kind of get over that mental hurdle. Tell me I'm not crazy. Tell me that this is normal for people who have strong reactions and illness related to what they eat. Because sometimes the stress of it starts to get to me. You too? I hope not. Good morning. I had a rough night. Did I Everybody's up and going. It's a beautiful day outside. So I guess we're gonna go to the water park. I'm gonna try my best. I just really didn't feel great last night. I was up most of the night with a lot of tummy problems. I don't think there's anything left in my body. So I should be okay today, but I'm feeling very weak. And so I think this may become a video about how to deal with when you get exposure to things you're not supposed to have. I actually think it might have been my fault from the margarita. At this point, I had a bad time on my birthday at Disney and a bad time last night. And both of them were after having cocktails, which have a lot more alcohol in them than wine or soda, which I seem to be okay with. So I don't think I can drink anymore. So when you guys see me order non-alcoholic cocktails, it's not that I'm pregnant. It's not a religious thing. It's just I don't feel good when I drink. And I think last night I didn't even have half the margarita. I gave the rest to Nick, and I still immediately was like regretting that choice. I tried to order something that had no dyes in it. It looked like it was a clean, fresh, like real lime juice and tequila, but it's not good for me. It was not good for my tummy. So let's see if we can recover this day. I think this might help me feel better. I just popped into the spa because I saw they have a halotherapy salt room, and that would really help for how I'm feeling, help me flush out whatever my body's trying to work out right now. But I'll admit, one, I always am a little bit of a penny pincher when it comes to the expensive spas. Facials looked like they were around $170. Some other treatments and massages were about $200, so it might be a little bit beyond my budget for an impromptu treatment today. But beyond that, I can't leave Nick with 3 kids in a water park with only 1 adult. So maybe not this visit.
Great Karoo is a buffet and really the only breakfast option at Kalahari. There was a bit of a wait, but it moved pretty quickly. When we went, kids were $15 and adults were $25, and they offered an upgrade to a Bloody Mary or mimosa bar.
We're seated at our table at the Great Karoo buffet, and here's how it works. You get your table, you get a server. Mr. Ray brought us our drinks. We got iced coffee, and I asked for a milk substitute, and this is almond milk. And so they have some options, but the rest of it's a buffet that you serve yourself. So Nick did go get us some fruit, but we went up front and asked for a chef who could help us find some gluten-free things. And so he said he'd come right over to the table and help us decide what we want to have for breakfast. I also wanted to mention, we did email in advance the special diets email for Kalahari, and the response was encouraging, but also not specifically helpful to us. Like, they didn't make any special reservations or anything like that. They just reassured us that they could make multiple options for us wherever we went. So they said any location can do baked fries, baked tater tots, baked whatever the thing is, like what we had at dinner last night at B-Luxe. And so I don't know specifically off the menu what's going to work for us here. It's not like special diets gave us specifics, but they did say just talk with the chef, and they're very accommodating. So encouraging, but a little vague. So it took about half an hour from when we sat down for the chef to come over. But instead of really a consult, he just brought us 3 slices of gluten-free white toast. But there's 5 of us. And this was a $97 breakfast. So Nick did go to the buffet and get some smoked salmon and some boiled eggs, and we asked the chef if we could get some scrambled eggs. We'll see how long it takes. Because we're kind of cutting into our water park time now. You know, we're a little desperate when we resort to Cheerios, because a lot of people are reactive to Cheerios. Even though they say gluten-free, they're not celiac safe, and I would normally not choose to give these to my kids. But we gotta eat. And I do want to say, they're very, very kind. The chef that helped us, there may have been a language barrier there. There wasn't as much discussion, but they're very, very busy. So I want to take that into account. Oh, I see a giant plate of scrambled eggs coming this way. Whoa, that's That's more like it. Scrambled eggs.
We ended up with a pretty full plate of food, and I drank lots of water. For those who are curious about what's on the buffet, I'll do a quick walkthrough, although we didn't get much from here to avoid cross-contamination with our sensitivity foods. Cheeses and smoked salmon, fruit and oatmeal toppings, pastries, breakfast burritos, scrambled eggs, and I love that they noted that these do contain dairy, a carving station, a kids station with pizza and corn dogs for breakfast, like kids do. Grab-and-go cereals, a custom omelet station, and more standard breakfast offerings. It was a slow start, but in the end, we left full.
Ask him your future.
I just want to know if I'm going to work out.
Aww.
After a morning at the water park, we went to lunch at Cinco Ninos, a modern Mexican kitchen with great allergen-friendly options.
I thought the day at the water park went really well. I'm always a little surprised the extent to which the kids are like, cool, just hanging out in a pool or a wave pool or a lazy river, as opposed to like going crazy on slides. We did go on one slide, Asher and I did, and it was so much more intense than I thought it was. I actually think, you know that slide we saw as we were driving in? I think that's the one we went on, is the one that goes like way outside and then like, and it like was going like this.
It's a big one.
It was a big one. We were there really 3 hours per day, or a little bit, about 3 hours per day. And honestly, that's how long they were able to hold out. We're not a 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. in the water park kind of family. It does make it hard to find a place to sit unless you get there early. We got there, 11:30, 12 o'clock, and I think we were lucky to find a table, and we ended up going into a very different spot. Now, going in after 4 actually works out. When we arrived last night, we got here after 4, and actually that worked really well. Now, obviously, you can get here as early as 10 a.m. on your day of check-in and use the water park, and that, for sure, for a big water park family, that's going to be your best value. But arriving after 4, things do start to clear out in there, so you start to find tables. The lines and the crowds don't tend to be quite as packed. The lazy river is not like person. So I like when we arrived yesterday.
I think this is true for us because our kids are so small. Because if we had kids that were like water park little monsters that wanted to just slide after slide after slide, they may want to get here earlier and hit it harder. But I saw some parents going into the adults only, the grotto with the swim up pool, or the adults only swim up sports bar pool, and both of those, Margarita just arrived. And both of those look lovely, and I just couldn't even wrap my head around what it would take to be able to go there. And I thought, the time will come. This phase of life is one where we spend 3 hours at a time in the water park, and kids are so exhausted that Axon's falling asleep in my arms in the lazy river. Maybe for kids or older, you want to take more time there, because, you could. The whole day is yours. The water park is your oyster. So we are here at Cinco Ninos, and we are not Cinco Ninos. We have Tres Ninos and no más, por favor. But
we are Cinco hungry travelers, so we asked them what we could do that was gluten-free and dairy-free. The menu is really well marked at this location with what items can be made gluten-free and which items don't contain any dairy. So it's really helpful, and we were able to get the mushroom cauliflower tacos. And since the rice does have butter in the way it's prepared, we asked if we could do the slaw instead. So we'll get black beans and slaw on the side. And we got 2 orders of that for the grown-ups. And then the kids, we just got veggie fajitas. So that'll be really fun. And everything corn tortillas, chips and guac and salsa with corn tortillas. And they verify that everything is gluten-free. And so we're excited to have a really full meal with more than just one entree all around. Is kind of fun and a sign of success given all of our restrictions. Oh, and I'm feeling quite a bit better than I was yesterday, or than I was this morning. This morning I was still kind of weak. Now I'm hungry.
Well, the margarita is really yummy, and this is happy hour, and so I'm very happy. So the one thing I would say is about breakfast, the only sit-down location they have is the buffet, which we will cover separately. But I would say we had such positive experiences with conversations with managers or chefs at our 2 sit-down non-buffet meals that I wish I could replicate that for breakfast, but there's nowhere to have a proper full sit-down breakfast. That is one suggestion that I would have. They could turn this space into, even if they're serving simple things, it doesn't even have to be Mexican themed, it would still be nice to have it available.
I like the food. It's amazing, guys. Did you see it? If you saw it, it's delicious.
Oh my gosh, guys. The salsa verde is so good. The red salsa is a little bit hot, but this, I may just get a spoon or a straw and just make this my whole lunch. Can I get this for happy hour? Just a big...
They're really good. They are spicy. The kids would have found them spicy for sure, so I'm glad we did what we did. They're really good. Call the fire department. There's a lot of spice.
It grows. The first few bites were kind of mild and almost a little bit like this. We'll say the flavors were subtle. When you get into it, whew, I mean, I'm a chicken, but still. The kids' fajita veggies were really yummy. And because our tacos were layered with 2 layers of tortilla, I actually only ate 1 tortilla from my tacos and gave the kids my spare tortillas. So they had all the fajitas they wanted. I stole some of their fajita veggies and put them inside my black beans. We ended up not getting the slaw because it does have dairy in it. But that's okay, we got a double portion of black beans. And those black beans were like the hero of the meal because they were really, really yummy. Black beans, 10 out of 10. I mean, there were a number of things that I took a bite of and just the flavor blew me away. The salsa verde, the black beans, very simple things, but they do it extremely well here. Those tacos got real spicy. So the cauliflower mushroom tacos have an almond romesco on them. Whew. So the black beans helped cool me off a little bit.
Competition. We're going to compare Great Wolf Lodge to Kalahari.
Okay.
In 3 categories. Okay? Rooms. Which one's better, Great Wolf Lodge or Kalahari?
Kalahari. Actually, Great Wolf Lodge.
Okay. Why?
I like the wallpaper. I like the wallpaper and the cabin.
Okay.
Cabin is cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I like the cabin part, the wallpaper, and the TV.
Okay.
Because Kalahari doesn't have TV.
Yes, it does.
What do you like more, the TV in Great Wolf Lodge or the TV in Kalahari? Great Wolf Lodge because they have their own movie.
Next. Food. Great Wolf Lodge or Kalahari?
Kalahari.
And why?
Chips. The chips crunchy.
Everything good so far over here?
Great Wolf Lodge is good for food.
I think so I would say the sit-down restaurants at Kalahari are great. At least our buffet experience at Great Wolf Lodge was better.
I know why this happened. It's not even a theory, it's a fact. At Great Wolf Lodge, we emailed Special Diets and they called us back. I spoke to a chef before we were even on property. We knew she was going to be available that day. I was able to text her cell phone and say, we're here, we need some special food made. And here, we had such a hard time communicating with the chef, and the emails we sent in advance to Special Diets, while encouraging, were not specifically helpful. Didn't put us in touch with anybody locally. It was all managed, from what I could tell, by Kalahari Corporate. And so I think that phone call, was above and beyond with Chef Desiree. I still remember her name, and that was back at, 5 months ago? So, yeah, that was the big difference maker when it came to the buffet.
I have one final food comment with a bonus point for Great Wolf Lodge. Starbucks. And not like we brew Starbucks coffee. I mean like a real Starbucks. No, it's not real Starbucks. Third one, water park.
Of course. I know what it is. I'm scared of the puppets of Great Wolf Lodge, so I picked Kalahari. Yeah, Kalahari.
Whoa, did Kalahari win all 3 categories?
No, Great Wolf Lodge.
Oh, Great Wolf Lodge got rooms. Okay.
I think the Kalahari rooms were nicer. They weren't quite as tired, but the design for it was kid cabin. Now for coffee. Java Manjaro was our last stop for some coffee for the road. The kids were eyeing the pastries, but again, nothing here was gluten and dairy free. Even from the packaged items, we weren't interested in much more than the apple juice. Kalahari was a wild time, and some fantastic family memories were made at the water park. We may try their higher-end specialty restaurants like Sorrentino's or Double Cut Steakhouse next time. And did you know there's a whole convention center? Pretty cool. This was the perfect family getaway for a sort of Animal Kingdom lodge fix when we want something a little closer to us in the Northeast. Thank you so much for joining us today. Y'all are the best. Please like and subscribe so you can join us on our next adventure. Bye, travelers.